I just happened to look up and I see Nick Cage, so I'm like, okay, let me see what this is. I then see he's playing Dracula, acting goofy as hell, and Nicholas Hoult is in it playing his servant. So I'm like, okay, this is looking pretty fun. Fucking Ghost Rider as Dracula, and the Beast is his servant. Okay, I'm down to clown. But the question is, should you wait for streaming? Aizvanto Sakya Vlad. That was a pretty decent Dracula impression, huh? They should have honestly casted me for the role of Dracula in this movie. My mom jokingly calls me Blackula sometimes.
That's gotta be racist.
Not convinced? Okay, bet. Aizvanto Sakya Vlad. See, that was Dracula if he was light-skinned. I'm just showing y'all I got range, you feel me?
I got all the house. I'm up to no good. For real. We like tank tops. We like Instagram likes.
And we smashing your check.
We are light skinned.
And we can help you.
I get it.
Hashtag rep on set.
I'ma finger your girl.
They need to hit my agent, because I'm a generational talent, to be honest. I was clacking away one day, editing with Twitch on in the background, and this trailer for this movie came up as an ad. I just happened to look up and I see Nick Cage, so I'm like, okay, let me see what this is. I then see he's playing Dracula, acting goofy as hell, and Nicholas Hoult is in it playing his servant. So I'm like, okay, this is looking pretty fun. Fucking Ghost Rider as Dracula, and the Beast is his servant. Okay, I'm down to clown. This will be a spoiler-free review because there really isn't much to spoil, but I was right. This movie's pretty damn fun, and if you like gory dark comedies, I would say this movie is def worth checking out. But the question is, should you wait for streaming? Let's get into it. The premise for this movie is pretty interesting, and it's what had me locked in the first place. It's a humorous twist on the classic Dracula story of him and his loyal follower, Renfield, an undying servant forced to serve Dracula until the end of time. Because when Dracula's at full strength, he just thinks he's Macho Man Randy Savage and just says fuck being stealthy and just goes out killing people willy-nilly. Eventually getting noticed by the church and they send hunters to come and kill him. While Renfield is always left picking up the pieces, sometimes literally, after Dracula just got his ass whooped. Dracula takes decades until he's fully healed and ready to pop out in the world again, to repeat this cycle over and over again. Seeing Nick Cage's Dracula going throughout history, doing dumb shit and getting up to no good would have been so fun to watch.
I'm up to no good.
It sucks that this movie chooses to interject a lackluster plot that takes away from the fun of this movie. When this movie's purely focused on Nick Cage and Nicholas Hoult, it's fucking amazing. Because Nick Cage's goofy take on Dracula is so funny. You can just tell he's having so much fun playing this character. His over-the-top acting and mannerisms are so entertaining to watch. He balances being very funny and extremely menacing so well. His acting is unpredictable, and I mean that in the best way possible. You never know if he's gonna do some insane shit like rip a guy's face off or do a goofy monologue, or both. I knew this movie was gonna be at least fun, but I'm actually surprised at how many times I laughed out loud. Nicholas Hoult as Renfield is also very good. When they're just acting off each other, it's so entertaining to watch. Two great actors just playing these ridiculous characters. The action in this is a little cheesy, but it's still very fun and creative. This movie has over-the-top gory kills, punching people's heads off, slashing their guts out, ripping a guy's arm off and throwing it at another guy and impaling him with it. It's all very enjoyable to watch. The only thing that grinds my gears about the action in this is there's a bunch of CGI blood and it's so noticeable. A character will make a body explode like a bag of blood, spraying everywhere, and it just looks so fake. And the character would have barely any blood on them after standing right next to the body that just exploded. That last part really isn't a big deal, but I just hate noticeably fake CGI blood. It's so distracting. This was almost one of my favorite movies of the year, but the story gets a little too sidetracked and it does a little too much by the end of it. There's this whole plot point with Awkwafina's character and Ben Schwartz's character, and it just took away from the interesting premise. Their plot is just full of bad exposition and it just has a bunch of convenient situations. I just wish this movie purely focused on Renfield and Dracula because that's what makes this movie so entertaining. But don't get me twisted. Awkwafina's and Ben's character are still funny in this movie and their plot has some cool and fun moments. But for me, it was just a lazy way to move the plot forward. They should have just kept things simple. Oh yeah, the soundtrack for this movie is pretty bad. Some of the songs just felt so out of place. I just wish I liked this movie a little bit more. The side plots just take away from the main premise, which is the best part. But overall, I still had fun. If you're into dark comedies and just looking for something fun to watch, then def go support this movie. Because everything in the box office right now is being overshadowed by Mario. With a budget of $65 $25 million, this movie's only tracking to make $10 million in its opening weekend, which isn't very good. A rule of thumb that I always hear is to double the budget to account for marketing, so this movie would have to make $130+ million to even be profitable. Nick Cage's performance alone is deadass worth going to the theaters for, because you could just tell that he's having so much fun playing Dracula, and that just makes his performance even more entertaining. When doing some basic research in this movie, I saw that Nick Cage was open to do a sequel. I just read that in passing, so I don't know how true that is, but I'd def go watch a sequel to this. I hope they take a little feedback and focus more on Dracula and Renfield, so hopefully this gets enough support for an option for a sequel to be on the table. But I'd give this movie a 6 out of 10, with Nick Cage's performance being an 11 out of 10. So you should def check this movie out in theaters if you can, so we can see more of this goofy shit. Let me know in the comments if you had fun with this movie, because I thought it was hilarious. But I know comedy is subjective, so I'm interested to see what other people thought about it. This was a shorter one, but that's pretty much it for this video. Drop a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.